Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining for the first time, hello there. My name is Lois and today we're going to be doing something a bit different. I'm going to be showing you how I made this laptop bag. Let's go. So I have this old jeans that refused to enter me since the day I bought it. And so that's what I'm going to be using for this bag. That's going to be my main fabric, and then I have this cotton lining for the lining for the bag, and then the zipper, 24-inch zipper, these connectors for connecting the straps, and then this adjustable thingy for the adjustable strap, and then wording to pad the bag also. So let's start drafting out the pattern. My laptop is about 12 inches in width and 8 inches in height. So for this laptop bag, I'm going to be using 15 inches in width. Half of 15 inches is 7.5 inches, and I'm going to mark that there. So just mark 7.5 inches. And then for the width, I'm going to be using 12 inches instead of 8 inches. So 12 inches for the height of this bag is what I'm using, 15 by 12 inches. Now I'm just going to connect the points together and we are done with drafting out the first thing, that is the front and the back pattern of this bag. We are going to be cutting times 2 of this for the back and the front, so just going to label that and then cut it out. And once that is done, this is what it should look like when you open it up. This is the front and the back pattern of the laptop bag. Now we're going to cut the sides and then the zipper. So for the zipper, I'm going to be using 22 inches. Half of 22 inches is 11 inches. So I'm going to be cutting 11 inches on fold for the zipper. So just measure 11. And for the width of the zipper, I'm using about 4 inches. I'm going to be using 11 by 4. 4 inches is the width of the zipper, so just measure 4 inches like that and connect the points together. Proceed to cut it out, and that is all for the zipper for now. So just label that so you don't get confused with the patterns. 22 inches is for the zipper, so just keep that one side. And now I'm going to cut the pattern for the sides of the bag. Since this will be going around the bag, I'm going to be using 27 inches, and half of 27 inches is about 13.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 13.5 inches by the same 4 inches that we used for the zipper. So just mark that there and connect the point, and then proceed to cut as usual. When you're done, remember to label the pattern so you don't get confused. And that is all for drafting out the patterns for this laptop bag. So these are the patterns that we have for the front, for the zip, and for the sides, and for the back as well. The next thing I'm going to do is just fold it this way. I don't want it to have that sharp edge, so I'm just going to make it curved a bit. Just fold it and then make a nice curve and cut it out. And we are done with the pattern drafting for this laptop bag. So this is what you should have when you're done with yours. Now it's time to transfer the patterns to fabric, and the first thing I'm going to do is to cut off this part of the jeans. So just watch closely. And once that is done, you're just going to keep it one side. We're going to be using the other parts of the jeans to cut out the main pattern. So we're going to open up that seam. You can either use a seam ripper, or you can just go the easy way and then cut it through just like I did. So it's going to be much wider, and this is what it's supposed to be. And for it to accommodate the pattern, I'm going to be folding it this way, and then I'm just going to place the pattern on top and pin it together. And once it's pinned together, you're just going to proceed to cut it out while leaving about half an inch for seam allowance. So just do that. This is same for the back pattern, and then just proceed to cut it out. So once all that is done, this is our back and front pattern for the laptop bag. So the next thing to do is to place this. This is going to be the pocket for this bag. So I'm going to be using this particular one for the front pockets for this bag. So what I want to do is to make it a shorter length. It's not going to be as high as the main pattern. So I'm just going to place it this way. Just watch closely how I'm doing. So after cutting it out, I'm just going to open it up this way and then place it on the front pattern, and this is what it should look like. As you can see, it's not like up to the shape I want, so I'm just going to add extra fabric there for it to reach. So that is it for the front pattern, and then for the back pattern, I'm going to be using this part of the jeans. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the front pattern and then just cut it out. This one is going to be a bit higher, so I'm just going to place it like that and cut it out. So we are done with cutting out the front and the back patterns, and now it's time to cut out the remaining patterns. So for the zip pattern, I'm going to cut it in two. So I'm just going to fold it this way and make sure it's equal. Bend it and then cut it in two. You're going to understand why later. So when you bend it, it's supposed to be up to 2 inches if you're using 4 inches width. So this is what we should have for the zip pattern. Now as you can see, the remaining piece of fabric I have is not going to be enough. So I have this extra denim fabric stashed in my basket, my pieces basket, and that's what I'm going to use for the sides, the strap, and for the zip pattern. So we're going to fold that in two, and the first thing I'm going to cut out is the strap for my bag. I'm using a random measurement, but this should be about 4.5 inches. I'm just going to cut that out, and that is going to be the strap. And now I'm going to cut out the zip and the sides. So just fold it like this in two, and then place the side pattern on top. You can see that we don't have enough seam allowance for the end. We're supposed to have at least half an inch seam allowance, but I'm going to add that to the zip pattern. Just watch closely and you'll understand better. So I'm just going to cut through that, and we are done with that part for now. Now it's time to cut out the zip, and like I said, we're going to be adding the extra allowance we did not add for that side. I'm going to be adding 1 inch in total. I'm just going to pin that first and then measure 1 inch on that side. And once that is done, I'm just going to proceed with cutting 1/2 inch seam allowance on each side as usual. So just do the same for yours. So once that is done, this is what it should look like. The zip is going to be in the middle of all of it. Now I'm just going to proceed with cutting out the lining and the wording for all of the patterns. And once that is done, this is how your pattern should look like. Now for that side pattern, we're supposed to cut just 1 instead of 2. So we're just going to make use of 1 since it's going to go round. So I just cut 1 of each for the main fabric, the lining and the wording, and then for the front and the back pattern also. So now it's time to join the patterns together, and the first thing you want to do is to place the lining on the wording first. That's the lining for the front pattern. I'm going to place it on the wording, so just watch closely. Place it this way and then stitch it round first, or you can iron it. And you're just going to flip it over and place the main fabric on top like this, and then the pockets that we're supposed to use for the front, so just place it this way. As you can see, I have joined the main fabric that I wanted to join, so just going to stitch that round. Here I have joined the lining. Now I'm just going to place the main fabric on top like this, and then place the pockets, and then I'm just going to top stitch it round. Do the same for the back, and once that is done, this is what they should look like. This is the back and this is the front, and we're done with that. The next thing to do now is to take the zip patterns, and this is how we're going to place the zip, by placing the denim on top like this. But first you're going to place it with the wording, so that place is going to be padded. So just place the wording underneath, and then place the zipper, place it on top of the zipper like this, and we're just going to make a straight stitch, and this is what it should look like once that is done. By the time you stitch it together, it should be up to that 4 inches, as the same with the side. You can see the side, I've also joined it with the lining and the wording. So this is what it should look like. And now to join the lining, I'm just going to open it up and then place it this way. So just watch closely. So now I am done with all of that, and this is what yours should look like. So that is it. Now we're going to be placing the handle for this bag, and I'm going to be placing my straps this way. I have about 14 inches in total for the straps. So from the middle, I'm just going to be taking 3 inches from the midpoint that we notched there. Do the same for the back, 3 inches from the midpoint. And now I'm just going to place the handles this way. So just watch closely and then just stitch it together. And once that is done, this is what it should look like. Now the next thing now is to take the piece of fabric. I have about 4 inches, and I'm just going to place it on the connector like this, and I'm going to be stitching it to the side of the pattern of this bag, the side patterns. I'm going to be stitching it on each side. I'm just going to place it this way and then pin it together. Now I'm going to place the zipper on top this way. We're going to be stitching it on each side like this. So just do that, and this is what it should look like once you're done. Make sure your stitches are really tight. So the next thing now to do is to take a lining or piece of fabric for the lining, and I'm just going to stitch it on each side like this also. And once that is done, this is what it should look like as well. I have stitched it and top stitched it round as well. So you're going to make sure to notch all the midpoints for all of the patterns. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to place the midpoint to the midpoint and then pin it together. That is the midpoint for the bottom part. And then when you take it round, you're going to get the next midpoint that is going to be on the upper part. Make sure you place it together and then pin it as well. So we're going to do the same for the back, and now we're going to stitch it round. Place the back pattern on top and stitch it as well round. And once that is done, this is what it should look like. At this point, we are done with the bag. You can see it's coming together nicely. So at that bottom part, I added extra fabric because while joining it round, it wasn't enough. So I added about 4 inches in total, like you see. If yours is enough, you don't need to add. But if it's just like mine and it's not enough, then add. I'm just going to use pliers to like cover the rough edges. And once you're done with that, we're going to be adding the straps. I have this very long strap. It's about 56 inches. So you're just going to watch closely how I'm going to be adding this adjustable strap thingy. If you know the name of this thing, let me know in the comments. So just watch closely. This part is quite self-explanatory. So you're just going to watch how I'm going to do this, and then that is when you understand. So the next thing you want to do is quite straightforward. We're just going to stitch it, and that is all for the bag. You can see the bag is looking all nice. I'm like really in love with this bag. It's unusual, it's funky, it's just like my style. So I'm just going to adjust the strap how I want it. And now I'm just going to put in my laptop to, test it out. I really like the fact that this bag has a lot of pockets. I can put anything and everything that I want to put inside. Will I be making this bag again? Absolutely yes, but not with this fabric. It was too bulky for my machine because of the whole chain. The jeans is really thick, and then the padding with the wording is thick as well. I'm going to be using the lighter fabric to make this bag again, and I hope you do the same for yours if you have a lighter fabric. But if you want to use this denim fabric or this jeans fabric, go ahead. Maybe your machine will be better with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments or text me on Instagram at styledbyzterry. Till my next video, stay healthy and stay jiggy. Bye.